The Woodsboro Murders, an audio drama reading by Stargazer. Chapter 14, Convince You. Kenny is barely watching the monitor. He reached boredom some time ago. He finds a bag of Cheetos and is chowing down when he hears screaming from outside. He peers out the window to see the last of the party kids pile into two cars and race off down the road. He chews a Cheeto slowly, his interest piqued. The sex is over, and both Sid and Billy are dressing. Sid brushes out her hair as her eyes come to rest on the telephone on the nightstand. It puzzles her as a stark revelation crosses her face. She turns to Billy, who sits on the floor, putting on his shoes. "Who did you call?" "What?" "When you were arrested, you're allowed one phone call. Who did you call?" "I called my dad." "No, Sheriff Burke called your dad. I saw him." "Yeah, when I called, no one answered." "Uh-huh. You don't still think it was me, do you, Sid?" "No, but if it were you, that would have been a very clever way to throw me off track, using your one phone call to call me so I wouldn't think it was you." Billy stands up. "What do I have to do to prove to you I'm not a killer?" He makes a move toward her when, from behind, in a split instant, from the open balcony doors comes the ghost figure. Sydney sees the figure immediately, screaming. Billy tries to calm her, oblivious to the advancing ghost. "Billy, watch out!" Billy barely turns as a long, steely blade rises high in the air. It strikes down with force, hitting his chest. As blood sprays the air, crimson red splatters across Sydney's face as the knife is thrust in and out of Billy, who tries hard to put up a fight, but it's useless. He never had a chance. His body falls to the floor, lifeless. The figure watches Billy's body come to a still before quietly, calmly turning their attention to Sydney, who stands numb, scared to death. And only when the ghost takes a step forward does Sydney break. She takes off like a rocket, leaping over the bed and out the door. Sydney tears out the door and down the hall, coated in Billy's blood. As the ghost catches up with her, grabbing hold of her collar, she pulls away from him, her shirt ripping down the back. Her hand finds a doorknob, and she goes for it, pulling the door open, moving quickly inside, locking it behind her. Total darkness. Sydney's hands scour the wall for a light switch. The doorknob turns. The lock holds as the door is nearly shaken from its hinges. And then nothing. All goes silent. Only Sydney's rapid breathing fills the space around her. Sydney, trembling, shaking, reaches above her. Feeling until she finds a string, she pulls it as the light bulb flashes on overhead. She's in a small box of a room. The door is on one side, a small, narrow staircase on the other. She eyes the doorknob, then the staircase, contemplating. But it's not an easy decision. There's no fucking way she's going up to the attic. She unlocks the door and pushes on it, but it won't give. She pushes on it again. It's locked from the other side. Shit. She turns to the staircase. A long, deserted country road in the distance. A single flashlight beams ahead. The only light in the black of night. Gale and Dewey can be heard. "So is Dewey your real name?" "Dwight. Dewey was something I got stuck with a long time ago." "I like it. It's sexy." "Nah, it's just this town's way of not taking me seriously." "What about Gale Weathers? I sound like a meteorologist." Gale and Dewey are walking closely, side by side, flirtatiously. Gale is surprisingly nervous. "People treat me like I'm the Antichrist of television journalism." "I don't think you're so bad." Gale smiles. "Are all the local boys as sweet as you?" Dewey blushes. He starts to say something when headlights appear behind them. They both spin around as two cars loaded with teens come racing right past them. Dewey grabs Gale and pushes her off the road just as the cars speed by, oblivious to them. In the ditch, Gale lands face up with Dewey right on top of her. He steals a glance in her eyes before rolling off her. "You okay?" Something takes Gale's attention. "What's that?" Dewey looks to where Gale points. He finds a flashlight and aims it into the brush. The tall end of the car is just visible. "Looks like a car." Dewey helps her up and then moves toward it. He shines the flashlight on the plate, but it's already obvious. Shit. This is Neil Prescott's car. Sydney's father? We gotta go back. Jesus, he's here. What the fuck is he doing here? Dewey is panicked. He grabs Gale and they race off down the road. Randy continues to watch the movie. his now sloppy drunk, completely involved with the screen. Scary music swells, filling the room. "No, Jamie, look behind you. Watch out, behind you." If he followed his own advice, he would see the ghost-masked figure that stands directly behind him, knife poised. Kenny finishes off a soda and crushes the can in his hand. He tosses it to the floor when a movement from the monitor catches his eye. On the monitor is Randy, still on the couch engrossed in the movie. Directly behind him, the ghost. Kenny does a double take. No fucking way. He watches as the ghost stands still, unmoving, knife raised. Jesus, fuck! The ghost takes a silent step forward. Kenny screams at the monitor, "Behind you, kid! Look behind you!" This kid needs help. Kenny bolts out of his seat and goes for the side door. He slides it open and sticks his head out as a long, sharp blade comes at him, fast and furious, slicing into his throat. Kenny falls forward, out the door, as the ghost-masked figure is upon him. From the monitor, the ghost-masked figure turns away from Randy, leaving him unharmed, moving instead out the front door on a 30-second walk to the news van. The attic is long and narrow, cluttered with furniture, boxes, and the likes. Moonlight filters in through a small raised window on the front of the wall of the house. Sydney moves through the attic, bumping into this, knocking over that. She passes a dusty mirror, jumping at her own reflection. She cringes at her image, drenched in Billy's blood, the redness of it. She moves on, determined. She eyes the raised window above her, a way out, if she could only reach it. Gail and Dewey come running up the drive, frantic. "I'll call for backup. I'll get my camera." They split up. Gail rushes to the news van, throwing open the door. "Kenny, camera, quick!" The van is empty. "Kenny?" A car horn goes off. Gail spins around. It came from the patrol jeep in the driveway. Gail calls out, "Dewey?" She moves across the yard to the jeep. The door hangs open. Dewey is nowhere to be found. "Dewey? Where are you?" A look of pure dread comes over Gail. Sydney has stacked object after object, building a ladder to the window. She climbs to the top, holding onto the window frame. She spots Gail almost immediately. She screams out, looking for the window latch. But there's not one. It doesn't open. Sydney starts, beating on it, trying to break it. Gail, hanging tough, approaches the front door, unable to hear Sydney's screams 3 floors up. Gail reaches for the door, just as she hears loud, horrible shrieks from inside. She backs away. An ear-curdling Jamie Lee Curtis scream blasts through the empty living room as the horror movie on the TV comes to its horrifying climax. Randy is now gone. Gail races across the yard, putting distance between her and the house. She moves back to the van. Sydney has found an old tennis racket. She swings a solid forehand at the window as it sprays glass. Sydney moves quickly, lifting herself up over broken glass and pulling herself through the window frame. Sydney wastes no time. She looks for Gail, screaming, but Gail is gone. Sid lowers herself down the ledge, sliding down a sloped portion of the roof onto the master bedroom's balcony. Then she eases herself over the railing and lowers herself, letting herself hang as low as she can. Then she lets go, free-falling the rest of the way. But in a split instant, the ghost appears, grabbing her wrist in midair. Her body hangs, dangling against the side of the house. The ghost begins to lift her, pulling her back onto the balcony. Sydney jerks, pulls, twists, but the hands have her. Hoisting her up, Sydney screams madly, yanking one last time, freeing herself. She drops to the ground, a good 7 feet, landing on her back, hitting hard. She grabs at a pained leg and brings herself upright. Gail is frantic. She starts the engine up and hits the headlights when she discovers she can't see out of the windshield. Gail rubs the glass. Sure enough, something is on the windshield outside, blocking her sight. Gail hits the wipers as blood smears across the glass. It drips from above. Gail screams as a hand reaches in through the open window. She looks up to see Randy, staring at her madly. "What's going on?" A sheer moment of fear as Gail hits the gas, plummeting the car forward into a ditch. She hits the brakes. Randy is thrown forward from the van. Gail reverses, backs up, hits the brakes. Again, just as Kenny's face comes sliding down the outside of the windshield, eyes wide, face distorted, blood everywhere. Gail hits the gas and yanks the wheel, sending Kenny's corpse flying off the top of the van. Gail spins the van around onto the road, hits the gas madly, gaining speed, just as Sydney appears in the middle of the road, drenched in blood. Gail swerves to miss her, but she turns too sharp and the van veers off the road at top speed, flipping over on its side, sliding off into the thick foliage. Sydney races to where the van lay on its side. Sydney peers through the windshield. Gail's body lay limp and bloody. Sydney cries out, turning, limping to the driveway. She sees the patrol jeep with its open door. She goes for it. Sydney hops in, reaches for the ignition. No keys. Shit. Just then, Sydney's eyes go to the front porch. She watches the front door opens, and a figure appears in the darkness, undetectable. Sydney throws the headlights, illuminating the side of the house, revealing Dewey standing in the doorway. Dewey? Sydney opens the Jeep door, moving to him, noticing his body slumped, knees buckled, and then his body falls forward, slowly, deliberately hitting the porch hard. Standing behind him is the ghost. No! Sid jumps back inside the Jeep, closing the door, locking it. She reaches over and locks the passenger's doors, and then she waits, and watches as the ghost leans over Dewey's still body, fumbling with something. Then the figure stands upright. In his hands, he holds the keys. They jingle in the wind, the ghost toying with her, enjoying this. Sydney, hysterical, locks eyes with the figure as he moves to the door. Sydney leaps on it, holding the lock down, making it impossible to unlock. Her face is pressed against the glass, inches from the masked figure. She uses every ounce of strength when the ghost disappears, dropping down below the window, out of her view. Sydney moves to the center of the Jeep, trying hard to listen over her own rapid breathing, every sound amplified. Then she hears it, the soft jingling of keys near the passenger's side door. She pounces on the lock, holding it down. A shadow cuts the beam of headlights, unseen by Sydney. The lock turns on the other side. Sydney leaps over and holds it down, securing it. This is beyond nerve-wracking. Sydney is certifiable. Her eyes spot the police radio for the first time. She grabs the mouthpiece and presses the switch. Help, please, I'm at Stu Mocker's house on Turner Lane. Please, he's gonna kill me. The ghost reaches out and grabs hold of Sydney's neck from behind the tailgate door, which stands open. Sydney, with surprising strength, spins around and attacks the ghost. She falls back against the dash, legs out, kicking wildly at the figure. Her hand reaches for the door, finds the lock, the door lever. She pulls the door. As it swings open, Sydney falls out of the door, hitting the ground. Sydney, on her stomach, squirms away from the Jeep. She brings herself up to her hands and knees, looking behind her to see nothing. The ghost has disappeared.